Hello there folks, and welcome back to the Chap's Guide, the channel where we talk about men's style, self-development and personal grooming. And today is another one of my refreshing outdoor shaves of the day. And you join me again in the lavish surroundings of the Somerset countryside, where I intend to have a slightly different outdoor shave. Now I did, in fact, just to explain, if you didn't see my last shave of the day, I am labouring under a broken collarbone at the moment, so I did a one-handed outdoor shave of the day a week or so ago. I filmed it about 10 days ago, but this one is slightly different. I'm not going to be shaving with traditional ingredients, and I'll explain what that's all about at the moment. So as you can see, I've probably got about 3 days of stubble, so it's gone a bit silvery at the tips, so it's got to go wherever happens. I don't like the silver. But today, what am I going to be using? Well, let's start with the normal stuff. I will be using a Merkur 33C, pretty standard 3-piece non-adjustable razor. You know, the secret with this one, or the speciality piece with this, it's very similar to the Merkur 34C. In fact, it's got exactly the same head on top, but in fact it's been married with a much smaller and lighter shaft. So I use this one really as my travelling razor. It's a bit lighter, a bit smaller, and it's a bit more compact, so a bit easier for using with one hand. You use all razors with one hand, don't you really? But a little bit easier for, you know, with limited mobility, the use of one hand. The secret of today though is I am going to be using something a little bit different. It dawned on me the other day that practically every time I do a shave here in the outdoors, at my outdoor shaving station, I use a different shaving cream, and I almost feel obliged to bring something new, to talk about something new on these shaves. And I thought, you know what, these things all cost about £15. I've got quite a few of them stacked up in a drawer at home in the bathroom, and I thought to myself, you know, people watching this must think that we've got money to burn on things like this. But not just that, but if you're somebody, particularly in these times where, you know, uncertain financial situation over the last 12 months, people have lost their jobs, shouldn't feel compelled to buy new shaving products all the time, because it is just as easy to get a good shave with anything. So I went looking through one of the drawers in my bathroom, and I found this. I don't know if you can see it quite there. This is one of those complimentary soaps that you get when you visit a hotel. Goodness knows where I got it. I found it in the drawer, and it's a Verbena and Lavender soap, Crabtree and Evelyn actually, fairly well-known brand. It's just hand soap. It's the hand soap you get, free hand soap, when you go to a hotel of some description. And I've never opened it before. It's brand new. There we go. Just show you there, just to prove the point. This is nothing fancy. It's got a nice smell to it. But what I'm going to do today, I'm going to shave using this to prove you don't have to spend money to have a decent shave, irregardless of what people will tell you in the advertisement. So I'm going to place that in my shaving bowl, and I'm doing this all on the cheap today. I'm doing, you know, this, well, virtually free shaving soap, which I've got for free. I'm using a free brush. Now, I bought some fine aftershave products some time ago, and they sent me a free with the pack, an Excelsior, and that's a boar hair brush. It's a little one actually, it's quite small as you can see, and I use this as sort of my travelling shaving brush, boar hair. So there we go, free brush, didn't cost me anything. And I'm going to be using my cheapest aftershave as well. We come to that at the end though. Well, in fact, I'll come to it now. It's Mandate. The old classic. I don't know how old some of you folks are watching this, but if you're from the 70s, this boy was released in 1974. And Mandate has been a staple in my cologne drawer for many, many years, because I really love fragrance, but I love the cheapies as well. So Mandate's with me today. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to build a lather with my cheapo soap, just to prove that it can be done, because, you know, we don't have to spend a lot of money. So it's in my little shaving bowl. Excuse me for the grimace, but I can't really get around as much as I used to. I'm just going to use my brush. I'm sorry I'm doing a bit off camera, but I'm just using my brush to agitate this bit of soap in here. I'm trying to hold it still while I get to work on it. And in a moment I'll do the business on my face. But I'm just loading up my brush with that soap. Now, I'm going to get some water on the face. I've got a little bowl of water here. There we go. And where's my brush? Oh, I've got some soap on it now, typically. Hang on, get that off there. Don't get slipping and sliding. Right, so I've got a load of soap on the end of my brush, and I am now going to just apply it to the face. Let's give it a... oh my good God. Instant good lather. Pleasant smelling. And yeah, we're proving a point here, aren't we? Because ultimately, you know, all I see these days, you look on YouTube, on the shaving forums, and all you see are these artisan soap manufacturers who, by and large, charging anywhere between 15 and 20 quid for some form of soap, or cream, or oil, or whatever your shaving preference is, and designed to make your shaving experience better than the one you had before. And that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money when you could actually just use any old soap. That soap was free. And hang on, I'll just get it on your face. I'm not saying it's as good, all right? But ultimately, what is shaving soap and shaving cream? It is a lubricant, isn't it? It's a lubricant that helps that blade slip over the skin. And that's all it is to it. You know, you can dress it up or call it what you like. No, I dare say that some of these fancy ones, which are made of, you know, bull semen and mermaid sweat or whatever the various components they will tell you are in it, they might do a better job than this. But I've got 4 days of stubble, and I'm going to demonstrate to you that I think this will do just as good as any of those fancy ones. So I've got my Merkur 33C here. I'm just going to dip it in my water here to warm up the steel, and my mirror's just to this side of me, so I'll be looking here, but let's get cutting whilst that stuff is still on the face. Now, I didn't tell you what blade was in this. I've got a brand new first use Darby Extra in here. Why I chose that blade, because I don't know why, but me and this Merkur are not good friends. I always end up with loads of weepers when I use this chap. So it's an experiment today. I'm using what I consider to be a little bit of a less aggressive blade, because I tend to use, for the most part, feathers blades, which you will know are really quite sharp. So I thought I would try something which is slightly less aggressive, in the hope that I won't take lumps out of myself. So there we go. Now, I can see the problem straight away. My soap is not lasting quite as long as perhaps your traditional stuff. So under the chin, it's died off a bit. So I'm just going to apply a bit more. Not a second pass, this is still the first pass, but the bits that the soap hasn't lasted so well on, I'm just reapplying. That's the only bit extra I'm doing. From a cutting, shaving point of view, it feels no different to any of the more expensive expensive soaps that I've used in the past. There we go. Cutting rather nicely, I have to say. And I've got a bit more use for my arm today, actually. I'm very pleased to say that. Broke the old collarbone 3 weeks ago now, falling off the bike, and I'm just at the stage where I can move it around a bit, which is very pleasing, especially with the shaving, because I was missing the ability to pull my skin taut quite a bit when I was shaving with this. There we go. That's not bad, actually, I gotta say. The combination of the slightly less aggressive blade has worked for me. For some reason, me and this 33C have never really got on in all the time I've owned it, and that means I tend to leave it at the back of the drawer. I've got a couple of other Merkurs which I enjoy using. This little fella has always had a bite in its tail for me. There we go. So I just done a quick first pass all throughout. No nicks, nothing like that. Proving the point that you don't have to spend 20 quid on soap to get a decent shave. So I'm just going to do a bit more. I'm going to have a second pass over most of my face with that. I gotta say, it comes up really good lather. And if nothing else, right, if you are an absolute shaving cream aficionado and you feel compelled to spend a large proportion of your income on shaving soap, at least you know that if you're on holiday and you've forgotten it, or you can't take it overseas with you because, you know, it's over the permitted amount for aircraft, you can use the soap they provide in your hotel at a pinch, which is good to know, I think. Always be prepared, isn't it? That's the Boy Scouts motto, and I fully subscribe to that. So I'm shifting along, I'm not messing around, no need to. Right, let's get on, let's give this a little second pass. I gotta say, this is cut rather well, no problem at all. There we go. Now, as I say, I must have got 20 different tubs of soap. I love the soap, you know, but let's be honest, it is literally all about, it's all about the fragrance, isn't it? It's not so much about the soap itself, because I'm convinced that when you're looking at things like Taylors of Old Bond Street, George Trumper, D.R. Harris, you know, I'm pretty convinced that they're all exactly the same, more or less, in their performance. It is merely a point of whether you prefer the fragrance. And a lot of these new artisan manufacturers who are selling their products at a very premium rate, in my mind, don't come anywhere near the performance of Trumpers, Harris and Taylors. And I've given them a lot of my money, and in hindsight, you know, I've kind of decided to stop doing that. I do patronise Taylors, I do patronise Trumpers. I've had a few good products from Harris, but yeah, I'm going to pick up the odd artisan as and when. I picked up one the other day, actually, from somebody who recommended one to me, which I will do a little review on probably the next time. There we go. Simple as that. Alright, just give the face a little scooch off with some water. There we go. Now, what can I tell you? Well, my verbena and lavender hotel complimentary hand soap has shaved there just as nicely as anything I spent 20 quid for. I will admit that perhaps the lather didn't hang around as long. Obviously the components in these artisan or better quality shaving creams makes that lather, the bubbles last longer. But in truth, if you are in a pinch, if you've got a bar of imperial leather, whatever you use in your home, Dove or whatever, on the bathroom sink, that's pretty much all you need for a shave. And a brush, well, I mean, I used a little cheapo brush today. You don't need a brush at all, really, do you? You can use your hands, you can use whatever you need as long as you obtain that lather that you need. Now, moving forward, I said I'm going on the cheap today. I'm a big fragrance buff, I'll be honest with you guys. I really do love fragrances. And there's one fragrance which has been with me probably the longest, since I was a young lad. And also, it's one which is the cheapest in my current collection, which is saying something because I love fragrance. The Amazon man came today and brought me another one, and he'll be here again tomorrow, I think, as well. I'm having a bit of a run on 1980s and 90s fragrances. I'm going back in time and revisiting some of the fragrances from my youth that either I didn't try back then, or I wasn't financially able to buy them, but now I am, so I'm trying them again. And this is Mandate. Now, Mandate has been around since 1976, and let me tell you, what should it smell of? Well, in its top notes, it has bergamot, lavender and rosemary. So I chose this one because I used lavender in the soap that I just shaved with, and hopefully this will be a good accompaniment to that. In its mid notes are geranium, pine and cinnamon. I've never detected those myself. I would say possibly geranium, no more than that. And its base notes, one of my favourites, cedar. Love cedar wood in all its types, oak moss and musk. It's a really manly fragrance of its era. And here's one of the advertising videos that it used when it was first put up for sale.
Sensual, long-lasting Mandate. Worn by men, loved by women.
Yeah, things have changed a lot, haven't they? You wouldn't dare advertise like that today for fear of being branded some misogynist. But what's it smell like? Well, let's put it on. It's an eau de toilette. It's not an aftershave, but I often use eau de toilette as aftershaves anyway. So I'm just going to spray it into the hand, get a bit going on there, and just whap it on. Oh yeah. Oh Christ. Sorry, I'm grimacing because of the broken collarbone, not the sting. Actually, I didn't get any nicks today, so no discomfort at all. So there we go. That is a beautiful, fresh, slightly soapy, slightly gentleman's barbershop fragrance. But I have to say, and I should have said actually, this cost £10 for 100 millilitres. And I tend to buy one of these every 2 or 3 years. I don't use them all the time, obviously. I use them in rotation with my somewhat more expensive collection. But I do like these. You know, there's a place in every man's wardrobe, every man's shaving accoutrement for Mandate, I think. So give it a thought. In fact, I love it so much, I will leave a link to where I bought it from on Amazon in the description box below, if you want to give it a try so cheaply. And whilst I'm on the subject of cheap, I was in Wilkinson's, which is, for those of you watching elsewhere in the world, is a really budget sort of drugstore, hardware store combination in the UK. And I picked up some Nivea for Men moisturising cream. This was £2 in a half price sale that they had there. So having applied the cologne in that Mandate, I am now going to apply some moisturiser just to protect the skin as well, and just going to rub that in. Now that will lock in that fragrance. It's ever so lightly scented itself, this is, so it doesn't argue with the Mandate at all, and that will lock in the fragrance. More importantly, it will return some moisturisation, some conditioning to my skin, because ultimately I've just drawn a razor sharp piece of steel over my face and scraped off my natural beard, which should have been there. I'm doing something which is unnatural, having a shave at the end of the day, so I'm protecting the skin. And yeah, it's absorbed straight away. It feels great. I feel great in the great outdoors. As we're now in September, we're heading into autumn. It's still lovely and warm though. I intend to continue doing these outdoor shaves throughout the year. I will be here in December and January in our winter time in the UK, depends where you watch, where it can regularly tip below 0 degrees. So you'll see me embracing and shaving in all the seasons of the UK. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed today's budget shave in every way, with that soap, with that shaving soap, with the shaving brush, with my Mandate aftershave, and with my Nivea moisturiser. All in all, probably cost about, well, not including the razor, under £20. So not a bad little shave when it comes to the pocket today. If you have enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. Click that subscribe button, join me on the journey that we're going on together. We're not just about shaving, we talk about reviews, I like fragrances, I talk about that, and lots of other men's development stuff as well. So I'd love you to come on this journey with me. If you will, I bid you well. I will see you soon. Take care of yourself, look after yourselves and your family, and I'll see you again very soon.